Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Here it is, Monday. This is already week 4. We're halfway finished with the course, and I did want to check in with you today and do our class live Zoom room. I'm checking in with you from lovely Palm Beach. I'm here at the library at Palm Beach Atlantic University, where I stopped in to do a little work, and I've been granted permission to borrow one of their rooms, so I'm here for your class live. I want to just thank you for joining in. It's only me right now, but maybe some others will join in momentarily. Or maybe not. And we'll just go with this. Behind me, you see the lovely palm trees. We've had a lot of rain. You can see, I can pick this up a little bit. Yeah, bring this over actually. Had a lot of rain in South Florida for, it seems like a month now. And we're all getting quite tired of it. We're ready for our sunshine to come back. Try that. And wherever you might be in the country, I think some of you are in the Midwest. A lot of folks, I think, are in the Midwest. We have some that are further west. But anyway, I'm here in sunny South Florida, and I've had a few students in South Florida. So I'm just welcome you all here in this class live Zoom room. This is week 4, as I said, on June 11th, I believe it is. June 11th, and make sure. Yeah, June 11th. Almost halfway through June, and then at the end of June, we'll be halfway through the year. But we are halfway through the course, and I just want to commend everyone for sticking in there. Some people do like statistics, but my statistics tell me that probably 80% or more, maybe even 90% or more people are not crazy about taking a course in statistics. In fact, I beg to venture to say that if this was not required, that many of you would not be taking this course. I get it. I took a course just like this, about 37 years ago. And it was a course, statistics for the social science majors or for the social sciences. And it was quite interesting. I remember very well the instructor. This is back in the late 70s, early 80s, I guess. And I remember his name was Joe. He told us to call him Joe. And he had really long hair, and he talked about going on his bicycle quite often. And he taught me quite a bit about statistics. He was very good. So I hope you're picking up some things from this course. I did want to just point out a few things to you. Of course, I'm here for you. I know that a couple of students have reached out to me this week because they had some personal issues that arose and made them not get their postings in quite on time, although they're there now, and their apply assignments. The college is, very clear that things need to be turned in on time. Nevertheless, I personally recognize, and as does the college, that things happen, especially with adult learners. So as trying or as anxiety inducing as a course is, especially a course like statistics, I don't want that to weigh you down. We know things happen. I trust that you will not take advantage of anything. I know internet goes out sometimes. It's happened to me. Technology is wonderful when it works. So if something happens, and again, there's been a couple of things this week that have been pretty significant. I won't mention specifically, but pretty significant in people's families that definitely impacted their ability, if you will, or to focus at least, and their attention was taken away, as it should have been, to be honest with you, to tend to family matters. I understand, and we can't simply give this away or just wipe the slate clean. Sometimes things are so bad that you can't attend to the course at all, in which case it's not the end of the world. You simply take the course over. I realize that's a financial burden as well. Nevertheless, sometimes that's what happens. We're not talking about that now. No one in this course is in a position that they have to do that. People had an issue this week. Some people have a couple of issues. they're getting their work in, and some of it's already in as soon as they possibly can, and I will accept it. I say that because psychologically, when you're facing a daunting task, sometimes you ascribe more to that than is um, necessary, or there should be, and you assign, or you in your mind you sort of assign, this is a lot of things I have to learn, and it's something I'm not used to. Talking with these little symbols and things such as that, and then you equate the professor, myself, with all of that as some big monster locked at some gate. Maybe you didn't do that, but if you did, that's not the case. I'm here to help you and support you. I'm not here to block you. I'm not here to make you feel bad or disparage you or anything like that. I'm here to help support you get through this course. And again, I'll point out as well, so get it in when you can. Things happen. Yeah, I appreciate that you reach out to me. Be proactive. That let me know what's going on. If I don't hear from you, that's one thing. That's what happened. This person, they gave up, or they don't care anymore. They're just are not engaged in the course because they just quit. Take 2 minutes, send a message in the message tab, as I said. Let me know what's going on, and I almost always will grant some leniency and what have you. As I say this, so I want you to be successful. And if you're a couple of days late on an assignment, I don't think that should be the end of the world. I don't think anyone wants that to be the end of the world. So yeah, just I want you to know that. Now, having said that, I do need to put a little bit of a caveat in here, if you will. When the university, when the college says the course is over, which is 3 weeks from now, that Sunday night at midnight, you're essentially shut out of turning in anything. I think you can still go into the message tab for a few days after that and send and receive messages. But at that point, then we do have to say, okay, that's it. We have to move on. You had ample time to get everything in and whatever have you. So hopefully, nothing happens, that last week. And if it does, hopefully you've done enough the first 5 weeks that, it may impact your grade from an A to a B or a B to a C, but it shouldn't cost you the credit for the course, ideally. But hopefully that won't happen. So that's something that, as I say, I'll be as accommodating as I possibly can. But that last week, it is kind of out of my hands. So plan accordingly, but do know that I'm here to help and support you, not to knock you down, or I'm not trying to boot you out of the college or out of statistics or anything like that. By no means. The other thing that students and people, everyone, puts burdens on themselves for when they are taking a course like statistics. Again, not everyone, but sometimes in our minds, we have this idea that we have to know every single thing, as if we're going to be a statistician when we finish this course. If you're a statistician when you finish this course, you've had a lot of other courses and a lot of other training, and you're already far along your way. This course is not here to prepare you to be a statistician. Statisticians have advanced degrees in statistics and probability and all kinds of things like that. And this is just would be like the first step along those lines. So you're expected to have a good understanding of statistics when you leave this course. And one of the purposes is so that you can understand as you go on in your academics and your academic career, that you'll understand the studies, because this, especially in the social sciences, and I presume that you're all majoring in the social sciences, sociology or psychology, maybe leadership, even management for that matter. The idea is that you'll have a good understanding when you read those peer-reviewed journals, which can be, boring and drawn out, but you really do need to have a good understanding of the statistics that in the study. Is this a valid study? You look at things like, is the sample size big enough? Is the sample size fair? Is it a real random sample, or is it only men over 50 that were in this. In some cases, that's okay if that's what you're studying, but you can't end up with a sample of 100 people and they're all men over 50 and try and generalize that to the general population. So those kinds of things, and understanding why that's important, how you get to that, and being able to look at that, because in the journal articles, and you can certainly go on and look at them right now, the peer-reviewed journals from counseling psychology or social psychology and personality or consulting psychology, and any number of peer-reviewed journals. And you'll actually see the study they did and how they ran the statistics and things such as that. So that's what you're going to be prepared for when you leave this course. The other thing I'll say is, unfortunately, some students, when they finish a course like this and there's nothing else that's required for them to take, they don't really look at statistics at this level. Again, I implore you to look at statistics going ahead, even if it's just a matter of really applying what you've learned here to those peer-reviewed journals, because that's really important. And as you go on, some of this will become it's kind of second nature to you the more you use it. I've said in the course room many times, the more you use this, the more comfortable you become. I think that's kind of like that. That's just all right. So the more you use this, the more comfortable you'll become using these terms and understanding this. And I'm talking from experience, because I wasn't one who loved statistics. I liked it explained to me. I mentioned that first course with Joe, my professor, my teacher, instructor. He was very good at explaining these things. It was obviously not online. He did it live, and he did a really good job of talking about statistics and using the social science experiments. And that leads me into this. I'm going to just kind of go through the screenshot here, the share screen with everyone. And I think you've been taking advantage of this. I certainly hope so. And one reason I don't go into a lot of sort of lecturing on statistics in these class lives, my job is to kind of get to know you, and or if you're not here, at least for you to get to know me. And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't do a better job than has already been presented for you. I mean, professors like to think they know everything and want to, lecture and things like that. And sometimes I guess I kind of do. But the fact of the matter is, and I've said this before in other courses at Central Christian College. Let me say this: I've been involved in education well over 2 decades, from the elementary school level all the way up to the college level, all the way up to the graduate school level. And I've seen a lot of good curriculum and lesson plans. The lesson plans and the curriculum that you're getting at Central Christian College of Kansas, really, it takes a backseat to no one. What I'm getting at is they put videos in your what's called the Explore that you have every week. I think you are, most of you are taking advantage of those. I hope all of you are. These videos, you can go back and review them again and again and again. And they have pulled out some really good ones right off of YouTube. The issue is you can find 1 million videos on YouTube that talk about statistics. I can't take credit. I didn't do this, but somebody ahead of me who wrote this curriculum for this class went and found some very excellent videos and presentations and put together the PowerPoint presentations. So that are very good. And again, you can go back and look at those, take notes, try some things. So I'm pointing this out because I'm on the screen. I want you to go through and see everything that's available to you. I presume that most of you, if not all of you, are taking advantage of this, but these are just absolute gold. These little videos they have explain things very well. You can go back. Khan Academy is a fantastic resource. I use it with some tutoring students from some of the fancy private schools that I work with, coaching kids one-on-one, these sort of prep schools. I use Khan Academy for them all the time. And what I mean by that is I get them to go on and become independent learners and look at Khan Academy. So these things are fantastic for you. And when I mentioned about Joe taking, not that one, this one, Joe, who used social science experiments and the statistics that were applied to those. This is the marshmallow test. This is a very famous, you hopefully, and probably have heard of it, hopefully you remember. This is not this particular test, but this is a test that we use to, actually Daniel Goleman did this and wrote about this, where you give a kid 4, 5, 6 years old, around that age, you put him in a room and give him a marshmallow, or her a marshmallow, and you tell them, look, I have to go do something, here's a marshmallow, you can eat this, this is your marshmallow. But if you will wait till I get back, I will give you another one. So if you can hold off, and essentially what we wouldn't say this to the kids, delay gratification, then you will be rewarded for that. So this experiment was done, and they followed these kids all the way through college. The kids who were able to delay gratification, which is one of the pillars of emotional intelligence, were more successful in their relationships, more successful academically, more successful in their career, and overall they were just more well-rounded individuals. So it was, it's a very famous study, and it helps determine emotional intelligence. The great news really is emotional intelligence can be increased. IQ, or what we call our IQ, really it's hard to increase that. Typically it's what you have, and it's certainly probably set by the time you're 6 or 7 years old. At least that's the conventional wisdom right now. But emotional intelligence can be improved upon. But anyway, I point this out just because these are the kind of things that without statistics, it would be really hard to make a case for any of these experiments or studies. I shouldn't say experiments, studies that we do, such as this, which is a very famous one. And there are a lot of social science experiments out there, or again, I said experiments, I shouldn't have. Social science studies out there. You can say experiments, but I don't really like it. And so determining, is this really valid? If I do a study with some people and I say I wouldn't say I've proved. I mentioned this last week. I think we don't say we prove anything scientifically. We prove things mathematically, but we scientifically we say that we can reasonably suspect, or reasonable possibility says that this will happen, but we can't do that without statistics. Anyway, that's just one of the studies. I wanted to point that out to you, along with the videos that you have available. And you can go back to weeks prior if you get a little bit lost. I would take notes when I watch the videos. I highly recommend that. Not to give you something else to do. It doesn't have to be copying what the videos are saying, but I would make a note of what week a video is in, and the title of it perhaps, and then the key points, just in case you want to go back. You'll sort of have a catalog and know where to find that video, and it'll save you a lot of time in the long run. So we have 5 videos here, and we go on, we got 5 more videos. Again, we have Khan Academy. I think Khan Academy is most of these, in fact. Maybe not. Yeah, we do another Khan, and then something else. So then we have the presentations. We have 3 presentations this week, and you can go through those. Again, too much for me to go through here, but you can definitely go through all of those and learn. So that those resources are available to you. I'm here to help if you get stuck. Also, do not forget about Tutor.com. This is a service that is yours. The college provides to you at no extra charge. I would say that it's free to you, but essentially your tuition somehow is paying for it. But it is an absolutely invaluable source. My most successful students, when there's a paper due, like an apply assignment, they will get on that early in the week, and they will send it in to Tutor.com, who will then evaluate it. They won't rewrite it for you, but they'll make some suggestions and point out some things that you may want to look at. and then send it back to you so you can submit, and you can make those changes and you can submit it on time. Those have been my most successful students. So it's there for you. It's non-judgmental. You send it to them, and they will look at it. And again, you have nothing to lose by that. So if you can do that, I highly recommend it. That's something that again I didn't have as an adult student, or certainly not as a traditional student. So I would take advantage of that if I were you. I kind of love to have something like that now because I write papers for this and that and the other. It'd be nice to have an editor that I didn't have to pay. So again, so here's your presentations and everything. So I realize it is Monday at 5:15. Many of you may be driving, well, actually maybe 4:15 where you're at. You may be driving or still at work. I had to get in here now, and next week could be the same thing. Next week's gonna be week 5 already. So plan on meeting or having another Zoom room next week for week 5. But those are the things I wanted to talk about. I really want you to take advantage of the resources that are there for you. The discussions are going pretty good. You can earn your points. You don't have to be perfect with everything you say. And I've given some feedback on that. But if you are putting forth a substantive, and that's a big part of your grade, just so you know, I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail. Nobody's failing right now that's putting in work. You have 2 discussion questions. You have to do your best on answering those questions. And again, these if you've had other classes, I'm pretty sure all or most of you have. These are a little different. A lot of the other discussion questions and other classes, at least that I've taught, are sort of what would you do if this happened, and there's a little bit of leeway. These are a little bit more direct. Like you could make the case there's a right or wrong answer, but you don't necessarily. If you're writing a substantive post, you don't necessarily have to get it 100% right to get points for it. What you have to do to get your points for the discussions is make a substantive post and then reply to 2 of your fellow learners substantively, and then interact throughout. And then you'll see as the discussion goes back and forth with some things that I point out maybe or allude to. I don't want to give away the farm, but I'll make some things, hey, you may want to check that out. And then you'll see some other things. Some of you are really doing a nice job explaining things. I mean, in all honesty, very good. And I've made some comments to you. I don't want to call anybody's name out on this, but I've done just such a good job. I've mentioned to you in the grade book and things like that. So interact that way, and you will. That's the model of this learning. And those who have been doing that are really doing well. So that's how I'm going to close it. I just commend you for all. And again, adult students, I know a lot going on. And I want to commend you for not giving up, for hanging in there. This is my quote: "Don't let perfection stand in the way of excellence, and don't let excellence stand in the way of progress." And I think that's what we're going to use rather than a Bible quote this week. I love the Bible quotes. I encourage you to read the Bible every day, at least a little bit. But I'm not for this. I'm going to. The quote now is, don't let excellence, I'm sorry, I back up. The quote for this week is, don't let perfection stand in the way of excellence, and don't let excellence stand in the way of progress. So with that, I'm going to leave you to go ahead and finish up your day, and I'll finish up your grades in the next day or so, maybe 2, and interact in the course room. Until then, until we talk again, I wish you well. And I'll see you in the course room.